Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back through your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, before we jump in, I want to ask all of you out there if you guys could hit that like button, because it does help the YouTube algorithm greatly. And of course, I always appreciate it. But today we have a lot of things to go over. There is some huge announcements from some pretty large names that really kind of confirm what's going to be happening in the next couple months and years down the road. We do see here from Payments Journal going back to April, though, cloud-based payments are the future and banks need to get with the program. One of the biggest things that I've been addressing around XRP is cloud-based payment systems and what's going to be happening around even our traditional payment sector, as we do kind of usher into the new age of payment and payment technology. With this, we really kind of have to address the steps to get to this point. Obviously, we need standardization, we need harmonization on all fronts. That means regulations, that means standards in terms of, like I said, standardization within how we can get to the point of utilizing and sourcing the technology behind these cloud-based payment systems. But then also, we do need acceptance. We need to get to the point where people are accepting cloud-based payments. And again, like even today, most of this is not like a huge big deal. We already have cloud-based payments. It's just now we are starting to see this as a service, which is now enabling banks to meet their objectives and also even embrace this technology and the efficiencies behind it. So we are getting there. And I think that we are already starting to kind of move forward on utilizing blockchain and even DLT through these cloud-based payment systems, and RippleNet is a perfect example of this. Now, over here, we have a video that got posted by Subjective Views, and we do see faster payment systems will allow for financial inclusion, but first we need global interoperability and standardization. This is from Dorothy Delore, Senior Financial Sector Specialist at the World Bank. Now, remember, like I said, harmonization on all fronts, regulations, standards, acceptance, things like that, right? It all matters. Listen closely.
Ensuring a digitally led payment system to foster financial inclusion. From the World Bank perspective and the projects that you're looking at, what advice would you have to policymakers to ensure they're taking the right steps on that front?
So for the World Bank, interoperability is key. To enable access and even more importantly usage of digital financial services. So we look at interoperability in a global sense, starting from a legal framework that will give access to an extended range of providers to the financial market infrastructures, to the payment system. So making sure the market is open to new payment service providers is the first step. Then you have to look at the technical infrastructure, like Akima mentioned, that will enable technically that interoperability. And this will require not only cooperation, it will require also standardization. So as part of the discussion that you need to have in your cooperative framework between the various providers and the regulators, this issue of standardization is also key. And this means also standardizing and disseminating key topics such as consumer protection and resilience, including cyber resilience, because you want to be sure that any users can send or receive transaction with any other user or provider. But you want to make sure also that everybody is aware of the rules and everybody knows where to turn in case of an incident.
So there you guys have it, right? She's mentioning everything that I'm talking about at the forefront. We need standards. We need interconnectedness in terms of interoperability, right? Like we need the bridges to connect to this digital world. I've always said, like, as we look at even Quant with what Quant's doing, or even Chainlink, right? Like these are two great initiatives. that are trying to bridge these two worlds. We need them to be bridged so that they could tap in to these DLTs and these DLNs. But also, right, like as we look at what's happening, we need faster payment systems. It's crucial. How can we achieve it? Well, cloud-based payment systems like RippleNet are becoming a huge force around adoption of these faster payment systems. Volante, right? Volante recently posted this. This was from August 31st, yesterday. With service delivery a key factor, access to real-time or intraday liquidity management becomes the number one concern for financial institutions. This is very interesting, right? Because, you know, we've been talking about liquidity for a very long time. In fact, I recently just made a video that a lot of people thought was a clickbait video, but it's not, right? Like, we are getting into the point of no return around liquidity. It is becoming a big problem. Liquidity is at a significant crunch. A lot of these banks are under a lot of pressure as well because they don't have a lot of liquidity, and it's one of the biggest pain points. Now, with this, how are they solving this? Well, first off, they do talk a little bit about payment modernization. So here we have Payments Modernization, the big survey, 2023, a global survey based on over 300 banks and payment service providers. Now, within this, there's a full breakdown of all of the top priority things. What's top of mind for payment leaders? Well, 72% of banks expect to increase their budget for payment modernization in the coming year. 90% of respondents do or will leverage a cloud-based payment infrastructure. 40% cited use of vendor-provided PaaS as almost fourfold increase, 364% from last year. 69% of bankers state they are only delivering the minimum capabilities required for ISO compliance or not at all. And 70% of bankers state that they are only meeting the minimum requirement for domestic instant payments or not at all. And yeah, I mean, listen, like, here are the key insights. Globally, most new payment solution implementations are to take place imminently, 67% within the next year. The greatest bank customer pain point is access to real-time or intraday liquidity management. 79%, a new first place. Cost is a close second at 75%. Efficiency of cross-border payments is more keenly felt than in 2022 for customers, up to 37% from 28%. Very, very interesting. And we do know that Volante does offer real-time payments as a service. We do see give your customers choice and speed. You know what's funny about Volante is, you know, I get it, right? Like, we could reach for the clouds on a lot of these, you know, companies like Volante with Ripple and say, hey, like, look at like XRP is the chosen one because of this, that, whatever. The thing about Volante is they are very interesting. They are very interesting as a company because they have been working with Ripple for so long. And I do think that this is a significant connection with Ripple. First off, here's a few things. They were the first US real-time payment transaction process in the cloud. The first SEPA instant payment process in the cloud. The key word there is cloud. It's in the cloud. Also, we do see down here, in addition to US real-time payments and SEPA instant payments networks, Volante supports over 100 clearing and settlement schemes globally. Volante is a crucial pillar around the global payment sector. And we do know with Volpay, this is the modernization payments tool that they do offer. Within this, obviously, they can tap into Ripple. We do know this with Swift, GPI, Ripple, Visa, B2B, and more. Ripple being a major one. We also do know that a single customer of theirs is processing over $1.4 trillion in a single day. You guys have that stat over there. This is also why I talk about Volante quite a bit, is because, like, you know, they are processing tons and tons of transactions every single day worth trillions of dollars. But also Volante has a lot behind them. And also they love Ripple and XRP. I mentioned this going all the way back to May of this year. And I know that I included this in many videos already. I know it might get a little bit repetitive, but the reason why I say this is because of what they have said about Ripple and XRP. For an example, they do say, like, even talking about ISO 20022, like, they're talking about this modernization of payments They talk about how this goes beyond just compliance with a SWIFT or market infrastructure mandate. It's changing the entire game. And we even see how this is going to reshape the entire industry and how a lot can happen in 5 years after all. They did say sitting at the heart of that change will be ISO 20022. The standard will bring together disparate systems, standards, and methods from across the globe and tie them together. See, ISO 20022 is the standardization that is, bringing everything together in a harmonized way around standards. We just need regulations to be in accordance with that, and we also need interoperability. Once we have all of that on all fronts, it's cleared, right? Like everything is going to go live. Probably within the next, give or take 2-3 years, we are going to start to see a big move on this, and it might even accelerate even more. It might even accelerate faster than that, because I even said about BRICS and things like that. Like, things are getting very interesting on the modernization front of things. But we do see no greater example of this can be found than in that of Ripple. Now, they did talk about how this is a competitor to SWIFT, but they also said how it's the first member based on DLT. Again, like ISO 20022 is pretty big, and we also know that Volante is a huge player behind this. They have already 125 banks, financial institutions, market infrastructures, clearinghouses, and corporate treasuries in 35 countries. They also accommodate for 40% of all U.S. commercial bank deposits and 70% of worldwide card traffic. So they are a crucial player. And them working with Ripple already, and them talking about Ripple in this way, that's big to note on. But also, right, we just seen a huge announcement from SWIFT as well. Now, this doesn't have anything tying it back to Ripple, but we've talked about how SWIFT will most likely tap into Ripple technology. We do see exciting news. Together with more than a dozen major financial institutions, we've successfully shown how the SWIFT network can facilitate the transfer of tokenized assets across multiple public and private blockchains. What an absolute huge announcement from SWIFT. Like, I don't think people realize what stage we are at right now. Like, they're talking about it. They're getting ready. We see over here, successful blockchain experiments unlock potential of tokenization. This was literally announced yesterday. We partnered with more than a dozen financial institutions and market infrastructures to demonstrate how our network could be used to transfer tokenized assets across multiple public and private blockchains. Again, this is what you need to be focused on, because we are seeing big moves on the tokenization front. We even see here, while tokenization is in its infancy, 97% of institutional investors believe it will revolutionize asset management and be a positive force in the industry. And with its potential benefits, including increased efficiency, reduced costs, and more inclusive investing through fractional ownership, that's no surprise. One issue challenging investors and institutions, however, is that tokenized assets are managed on different blockchains, each with its own functionality and liquidity profile. Interoperability between these blockchains is crucial to avoid financial institutions having to build connections with each platform, leading to significant operational costs and challenges. And again, like, this is talking more so about Chainlink, right? Like, they talked about CCIP with Chainlink. But look at the names tied to this. Like, if we scroll down, here's their experiments, right? So they're experimenting with major banks. We're talking about huge clearinghouses. We're even seeing Citi here, ANZ, BNP Paribas, BNY Mellon, you name it. But also the DTCC, the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. They are moving $2.4 quadrillion per year in securities transactions. Absolutely massive. I want you guys to understand that big things are happening here. Like, all of these institutions, they're getting ready. They're just building out the technology. They're trying to experiment with the technology. We are starting to see big things on the technology front now. Things are moving extremely fast. We even see here a quote from the DTCC, right? Like, this is the biggest one. Obviously, they're talking about unlocking DLT value and everything within a lot of these quotes. But this one, as a financial market infrastructure provider, DTCC is committed to co-ideating and developing solutions to connect the broadest set of market participants and ensure the innovative solutions don't form in silos and deliver maximum value. We are pleased to engage with SWIFT on this important experiment that has taken meaningful steps in understanding what cross-network interoperability could mean in the future. And again, like, You know, all of this is right on par with what we've been addressing, right? Like, we are starting to see the biggest moves being made behind closed doors. We're starting to see a lot of the things that we've been speculating on for years finally coming true. Like, we are seeing the global organizations that make the world go round in terms of money movement and money settlement and value movement as well, now talking about this technology, now realizing how disruptive this technology is and wanting to harness the power behind it. Tell me there isn't a better time to be in this market than right now. So many people focused on price action in the next week, while I'm focused on the price action in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4, 5. Because what we will see is trillions flowing through this space. We are seeing the largest organizations out there that are tapping into hundreds of financial institutions, massive names that are moving trillions of dollars per day, talking about this technology in such broad and huge ways. I'm telling you guys right now, we are a part of the future before the future has even become a reality. This is something so big that most people are overlooking. And I don't think people realize just how early we are right now. Over the course of the next couple years, I'm telling you right now, these assets that we are holding will soon become gold in the world of institutions, money movement, money settlement. I'm so damn excited. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.